All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Speed Racing Network, where we have the biggest race of the season in the Xfinity Series. It is championship week here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. My name is Sean Griffith. I am here with Jonathan Byer. Jonathan, how's it going?
It's going great, Sean. It's good to be here on such a special night. We had our Truck Series championship race last night, and it was surely exciting and eventful for all the drivers that were in contention, and the team championship was really good as well. So I'm excited about what we are ready to see tonight. I think Atlanta is a track that presents opportunity for a lot of things to happen, and so I'm ready to watch.
Well, you know, our entire audience should be very, very thrilled to have you in the booth with me here tonight, because you actually won that race last night. So congratulations on that, third win of the season.
Yeah, thanks. 3 wins in a year with the talent pool we have at Speed Racing Network is an achievement on its own, and I'm grateful for all the support and the teammates that helped me and pushed me to practice a little bit more this year, and all the things we put together. And this track, it's anybody could come out here and win it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a guy that was in the championship contention. I was still fighting for that 6th through 8th place, so I still had something to race for too, and so. Pulling out the win not only helped with that, but it helped us secure the team championship too. So last night was a great night, and I'm ready to see what these drivers have in store for us here.
Well, man, we have 100. That's wrong already. We've already made a mistake here tonight. It is 120 laps tonight, not 110. So it is going to be just a touch longer. It's going to be 180 miles. This is the longest race of the season, and why not wait until Atlanta here in the championship week in order to get it right?
Yeah, this is a great race to have a little bit of longer distance because of the tire fall off you see, and this place is subject to longer green flag runs, so it opens up the strategy window a little bit more.
Definitely. Now, we're actually going to skip through the league details, because if you haven't been with us for the last 19 weeks, knowing it on week 20 isn't going to help anything, because everything has changed here tonight. This is one race takes it all, but we've got some race payouts. $30 to first place, 20 to second. Third place gets 10, fourth place gets 10, fifth place gets 10. They pay 10 to get in, so basically you get your money back if you get third through fifth there.
Yeah, that leaves something for everybody to race for tonight, not just the guys in the playoffs.
That's the whole goal of it, but those 5 guys in the playoffs, as well as the other 6 guys that were eliminated last week, are all racing for these prizes. $500 for first place here tonight. Second place gets $300. Third place gets $180. Fourth place gets $120. Fifth place gets $80. So the top 5 is guaranteed one of those 5 payouts. 6th through 8th, those drivers that were eliminated last week, they are all competing for this 6th through 8th place prize. And tonight, it's whoever crosses the finish line first gets the money.
The easiest math you've had to do all season, Sean.
Amen. Amen. So definitely, it is going to be awesome. We've got that going on. We've got the team championship going on. We have the tier 2 championship going on. We have so many different things going on tonight. We are paying out a lot of money here tonight. I really, really hope the Jason Tripp and the Speed Racing Network bank account are healthy, because we are going to be draining that account here tonight. But for right now, let's talk about draining something else. Let's talk about draining a beer bottle. Let's go to the Beer Street Journal Beer of the Week. This week's Beer Street Journal Beer of the Week comes out of Terrapin Brewing Company in Athens, Georgia. 2021 marks the 17th release of Terrapin Wake and Bake, an oatmeal stout brewed with a special blend of coffee from Athens' own Jittery Joe's Coffee. Black as night, this coffee stout is thick, rich, and full of real coffee flavor. Brewed with a special blend of beans from all over the world, developed and roasted specifically for Terrapin by our friends at Jittery Joe's Coffee in Athens, Georgia. So if you like a bold stout with coffee and hints of creamy chocolate, this seasonal favorite does not disappoint. So pick up a can of Terrapin Wake and Bake on shelves now for the holiday season. The Beer of the Week is sponsored by BeerStreetJournal.com, the leading online publication for craft beer reviews. Go to BeerStreetJournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 to enjoy, and please drink responsibly. That's right, Terrapin Beer Company bringing out the Wake and Bake Coffee Oatmeal Imperial Stout. So this is their 17th year of doing it, which means that people keep on coming back for more and more and more. And our very own Brandon Domain said that he has actually tried this this stout before. He really does like it. So if you're in the mood for something that kind of is a chocolate and coffee type of taste, that's kind of a big thing right now with Starbucks all over the place and everything. You might want to check out this Wake and Bake. It'll be a really, really good stout for those cold winter nights.
Yeah, I'm not a stout guy myself, Sean, but I am a coffee guy, so this is a little intriguing. And coffee and beer are becoming a more popular combination, so I'll have to give one of these a try. And I want to also take this time to thank Beer Street Journal for giving us a beer every week to showcase.
Absolutely. We appreciate BeerStreetJournal.com, and if you're looking for your next great beer or just information on other beers that are out there, definitely go to BeerStreetJournal.com and check out all the good stuff. But now let's get into the racing. This is what everybody's waiting for. We've got the championship race here tonight. This is the team championship. It's Tank Racing versus JW Racing. And don't let those rankings fool you. JW Racing kind of came in late in the season, and they've been on a tear ever since.
They really have. And, you know, a driver from JW Racing won our Glitch Challenge last week. And so, you know, that just shows that they're running up front. And our team championship battle we had in the Truck Series last night was incredible. You know, all those drivers were up front. We were battling for every spot because every spot counts. And I think this is a heavyweight matchup we have right here between Tank Racing and JW.
Yeah, it is going to be huge. So we will be talking a lot more about that because $200 is on the line for those teams. And there are definitely, I believe there are 9 drivers out there involved in that team championship. So I think that JW Racing is missing one of their drivers here tonight. But should be a knockdown, drag-out fight. But the big money is these top 5 guys: Greg Olenek, Adrian Schumacher, Tristan Bailey, Vincent Cortez, and Jordan Bain going for that $500 tonight.
And I'll tell you what I look at when I see this screen right here. What I look at first is average finish. And, you know, I'm a consistency kind of guy, so that's just where I lean. But you look at Jordan Bain, that average finish of 7th sticks out compared to the rest. It's the only one inside the top 10. So he's there on a consistent basis. Also has 3 wins on the season. So your eyes kind of go there, but all 5 of these drivers are capable of hoisting that championship trophy at the end of the night.
Yeah, it is going to be one of those races where we're not going to know until the last lap. That's what happened last night as well. We didn't really, I mean, we thought we knew what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden everything changed. And actually Brad Herman ended up winning that championship, and I want to say he finished in either 8th, 9th, or 10th position in the actual race, but that was good enough.
That's right. It's whatever one of these 5 drivers crosses the finish line first. And, you know, if that guy is in 14th, then guess what? They still win the championship from 14th. But I think you're going to have to finish better than that to win it tonight. But we'll see.
Oh, I agree. I think it's going to be one of those where the winner might be from these 5. The big thing that I look at is top 5s. So if you take a look at Vincent Cortez and Jordan Bain, both with 8 top 5s on the season, both almost identical in laps led. Just that average finish is a little bit different, and the wins is a little bit different. But I can't tell you how many times Vincent Cortez has been right there on the back bumper of Jordan Bain coming to the finish line.
And we talk about him a lot, which is usually a good sign because that means he's running somewhere up towards the front where we need to talk about him. And so you're right, Sean, up front contention. That's why he has so many top 5s. He's led 170 laps this year, which is, you know, right there with Jordan Bain as well. So, I mean, you're right. You got to have to find yourself up front to contend for this championship, and he's definitely capable.
Yeah, definitely. And all these guys have led laps throughout the entire season, so they know what it takes to do that. Greg Olenek, our broadcasting partner from Wednesdays and Sunday nights, so definitely he's been talking this thing up the entire week, so he's pumped up, ready to go. I know that Tank Racing has been practicing, so Adrian Schumacher and Vincent Cortez, they're on their game as well. And Jordan Bain and Tristan Bailey, truthfully, they're always on their game.
That's right. You just said Tank Racing there for a second. Remember, they're in the team championship, and they got these 2 battling for the individual championship as well. So Tank Racing has a strong presence in both championships tonight.
Well, let's jump out there onto the track. Let's check out Jordan Bain as he is going through his qualifying lap. He won last week, which was his 3rd win of the season. And so he's led 173 laps. And again, that average finish inside the top 10, which is the best out of anybody in the entire Xfinity series. So your money kind of has to be on him, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. And, you know, we made the joke last week that he's been on a tear ever since I joined the broadcast team here at SRN. But, I mean, he really has, and he struck gold at the right time. And the right time is the playoffs. And, he really hasn't gotten in that much trouble. He's got himself here to this last race, the one that counts, and he's just got to put it together tonight. But I believe he's going to qualify up front, and we'll see him up front all night.
Well, we'll see how he qualifies here as he is finishing up his first qualifying lap. Let's see where that puts him, and we'll kind of wait for these other guys to get out onto the track. So after the first qualifying lap, he's up in third. Let's see if his second one is even faster. I'm looking to see if any of our other playoff drivers are out there yet. Tristan Bailey just joined the track, so we'll jump over to him in just a second as soon as we see where Jordan Bain ends up here.
Yeah, and it looks like he scrubbed the fence just a little bit, so that would negate this lap if iRacing picked that up. But this is a hard track to run a qualifying lap at because you really have to get all you can in 2 complete laps. But when you actually drive this track during the race, you're trying to save more than you're trying to get. So it is harder to run a qualifying lap here than some might think.
Well, Tristan Bailey, he is going to try to beat that time. He is out there on the track right now, starting off his first lap. And Tristan has really been strong all season long, 102 laps led there, average finish of 14th, but he was the one that we kind of called the boom or bust guy all season long. He is either in that top 5 or he's in the bottom 20. Hopefully he's in the top 5 here tonight for his sake.
Well, and another thing, off the top of my head, I don't have the stats in front of me, but when we've been at 1.5 mile tracks, we usually see Tristan Bailey run really well, and Atlanta's a 1.5 mile track, so I think this might fit what he likes a little bit more, which that's only going to help him tonight.
Definitely. And let's check out Greg Olenek here in the Moo and Brew number 31, fan favorite paint scheme out there, and also a favorite here in the booth because, again, our broadcast partner from Wednesday and Sunday nights. But like I said, he has been really, really gunning for this race. For about the past 6 weeks, he's been practicing at this track, waiting for this moment.
Yeah, he's always doing something around racing, and he's definitely done a lot of practice for this race. But for those that don't follow Moo and Brew on Facebook, you need to get on there and do that. They post incredible pictures. Looks like he got the wall a little bit right there, so we're going to go ahead and reset this car because he didn't cross the stripe and rack it again. That's probably why we saw him out a little early in this qualifying session, just in case something like that happened. But it looks like we have Adrian Schumacher making a lap now.
Yeah, now Adrian, everybody knows him as the road course king, but he is good everywhere that he goes. He is very, very strong. 12th place average finish, but don't let that fool you. That is not because he's not up front. He is up front quite a bit. It's just he's always in that 5th to 9th area, and then when the situation arrives up front, then he'll pass you and win the race.
Yeah, he's kind of methodical in the way he drives. He just doesn't stick his neck out there all the time and try to gun for every win. But I think that's how he got himself here, by just being patient, consistent, and winning the races that come to him. So Vincent Cortez looks like he got a little loose off 2 and fenced it, but he'll just re-rack it because I don't think he's made a lap yet. And that's why some of these guys are coming out a little bit earlier in this qualifying session. That's kind of a margin for error. Unless you cross the stripe completing that second lap, you can still reset that car and give it another go. So that's what you're seeing here with like Greg Olenek and Vincent Cortez.
Actually, I think Vincent did cross the line. It's showing on my scoreboard that he did, but he is up in the 5th position currently. But remember, he's led the second most amount of laps. He's got the second best average finish out there. Basically, he has been second best all season. And I know he's going to be really mad when I say that, but Jordan Bain has just had his number this season. Maybe tonight is the night that Vincent Cortez gets that big, huge win over Jordan Bain.
And there's nothing wrong with being in contention to win every race because that means you're going to be in the championship hunt, and that means you're taking home money most weeks if you're running in the top 5. His win total just doesn't show it with just 1, but that's okay because winning tonight, it doesn't matter how many races you won all year, you won the championship. So I believe he can get it done, and here's a look at all 5 of those drivers that have a chance.
Yeah, just once again, we'll go through these drivers one more time. Greg Olenek with the 1 win, only 2 top 5s on the entire season. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Just means that he's had some bad luck this season. So hopefully that luck comes back into play here tonight.
Yeah, I think it will. All these guys are talented enough to give themselves a real shot, and I think Cortez and Bain are kind of up there as you would presume have the best chance. But man, Greg Olenek, and we've seen him. He's won a race this year. He runs up front. Schumacher, Bailey, we touched on when they were making their qualifying laps. I mean, it's anybody's game. I think we have a 20% chance between all 5 of these.
Yeah, I mean, they're just all incredible drivers. Any one of them that crosses that finish line first is a very deserving champion. So we are proud to have a really, really strong top 5 and really a strong field this entire season long here in the Xfinity series. There's been a lot of parity here where there's not really 1 or 2 people that have really, really crushed the competition. It's been really, really equal.
Well, in all the SRN leagues, Sean, we have an incredible talent pool here that I think goes unappreciated sometimes. But from driving in them all year and running a one-off race in the Xfinity series this year, I can tell you this is a tough series to compete in. These drivers aren't easy, but I mean, it just shows you see how competitive all the teams are that started this team championship. There's good drivers spread throughout this field, so everybody's finished up their qualifying laps. It looks like we're getting ready to grid, and we got last week's JBR Challenge winner on the pole, Drew Ballesteros.
Yeah, Drew Ballesteros has always been strong since they joined the league back in about week 7. Matthew Robinson, his teammate, equally as strong. And James Shanewolf, who is one of those drivers that's competing for the 6th, 7th, and 8th spots in 3rd.
Devin Zimmerman will roll off 4th. And then the next 2, those first 2 playoff drivers we touched on, Vincent Cortez will roll off 5th and Jordan Bain will roll off 6th.
Mike Lepicki from Tank Racing has had a really down season, but he is one of those drivers that could jump up and surprise you at any moment. He is in 7th. Seth Reid also competing for that 6th, 7th, and 8th place prize. He is going to start off in the 8th position.
Austin Purnell from Jonathan Byer Racing, even though it doesn't say that on there, he's on our team starting 9th. Nathan Nixon will roll off 10th. Greg Olenek in the Moo and Brew machine will roll off 11th, our 3rd playoff driver in the top 11, and then Daniel Keith Jr. will roll off to the 12th spot.
That's right. Adrian Schumacher will start off in the 13th position. Tristan Bailey will start off in the 14th. So those are the rest of the playoff 5. So all 5 of them in the top 14 to start this thing off. But the big question now that we are done with qualifying, now that we're out there on the track, Jonathan Byer, this is your shot. Who you got?
Oh man, this is tough because we got to pick 2 people tonight, 1 to win the race and 1 to win the championship. But I do believe, even though it didn't happen last night, tonight, I think you're going to have to win the race to win the championship. I just think it's going to come down to it. I'm going to throw a little reciprocity back towards Greg Olenek for picking me to win the race last night. So I'm going to pick him to win the race and the championship tonight in the Moo and Brew number 31.
It's a great pick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that pick at all. I like the fact that Vincent Cortez and Jordan Bain are starting basically 5th and 6th, or starting right next to each other. But Drew Ballesteros has been super strong all season long. It's surprising to me that he didn't make it into the playoffs, but he just didn't win that playoff lucky dog. I think he wins the race tonight here from the pole. But as far as the championship is concerned, I got to go with Vincent Cortez. He's just been so strong, and he's been right there on the threshold the entire time. It is his time to win this championship.
Great pick, Sean. And I don't think you could go wrong with any of our 5 playoff drivers, but it looks like we're getting ready to go green here.
Let's get this thing started. 120 laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And they are off, and Drew Ballesteros takes off, gets a great jump on his teammate Matthew Robinson, his other teammate James Shanewolf right behind. You got to remember, those 3 guys, they are going for that team championship.
That's right. That's a big statement to start this race by JW. We'll see if they can stay there. We got a couple of cars up towards the fence there, but it looks like they're all going to sort it out. This is a long race. You said 120 laps. It's a long time around here. It's 30 more than we saw last night. These guys can go about 33, 35 laps on a tank of fuel. You're definitely going to want tires by that point too. So I think strategy is going to play a big part in this race. And so we'll see what happens. But it looks like everybody's getting strung out early and figuring it out.
Yeah, we are checking to figure out what is going on with our scoring system right now. It is drastically off, but we will keep an eye on that on the left side. We will get that fixed up for everybody.
Ron, while we have a moment, if you would, what do those colors mean that are on that scoring monitor?
So the green drivers, those are the ones that are going for the actual championship. The blue drivers are going for the second-tier championship. The yellow drivers are going for that 6th place through 8th place title and that money.
So that just shows you how much we have going on here tonight. Plus the team championship, which isn't in that color coding. So a lot going on tonight. A lot at stake, but Drew Ballesteros just continues to lead this thing, and he's got a decent gap on his teammate. And from what I gathered from leading the race last night, is clean air is really good. You got all that clean air on the front of your car. It handles really well. You're not using as much wheel input. You're saving your tires a little bit better. However, you're burning a little bit more fuel than the person behind you. So if I have my teammate behind you, like Drew Ballesteros does right there, might swap positions with him for a few laps because I don't really need to lead all these laps, and just like you're seeing right there, maybe try to save a little bit more fuel by doing so.
Yeah, Matthew Robinson takes the lead away from his teammate. Yeah, James Shanewolf right on Drew Ballesteros' tail there. So 1, 2, 3, JW Racing.
I do think you're going to see what clean air does tonight. When a car is handling really well and gets out front, it's easy to pull away, but saving tires in Atlanta is so important. You don't want to use a bunch of tire to pull that far away. At the end of the race, 10 laps to go, sure. All you can get out of those tires, you're going to need those 10 laps. But if you want to make a full fuel run on these tires, you really have to be easy on them early and know when to use them.
Well, Vincent Cortez has pulled up into the 4th position and currently is 2 spots ahead of Jordan Bain.
So that's the first look at our 2 playoff drivers, which haven't really moved too drastically since the start of this race, but, keeping themselves out of trouble and out of the Hornets' nest. You see Greg Golinick there just a few cars behind, kind of in this gaggle of cars you see. Atlanta's a wider racetrack. Well, it was. Now that they've repaved it, we don't have that version to race on yet, but there's plenty of room to run. But you do want to be as close to that white line as possible. That's where you're going to save the most tire and your car's going to be the most comfortable. So over the course of the race, you're going to see a lot of people just fighting to get to that bottom, just like you see Greg mid-corner right there pull all the way down to that white line.
Yeah, both lines equally as good. In fact, we saw a couple of the trucks running the high line yesterday and doing a very good job of it, especially towards the end of that race.
And, so many people fight for the bottom sometimes, Sean, that the high line's great if you want to pass a bunch of trucks because the bottom gets, or cars in this case, stuck in Wednesday night mode. The bottom gets such log jam up that you can really make a lot of ground and pass a lot of vehicles up on the top, especially at the end of a fuel run when you have guys that have already pitted and some guys that are staying out, so there's some slower traffic in the way. You can just go around the top and pick that up. So far so good. All the playoff drivers look like they're coming home clean.
Yep, definitely. So up front, once again, Vincent Cortez in 4th place, and Jordan Bain has fallen all the way back to 9th now. So he was up in 6th, fell all the way back to 9th. Greg Olinick has passed him. So currently, if this thing ended right here, right now, then Vincent Cortez would be your champion. Greg Olinick 2nd, Jordan Bain 3rd, Tristan Bailey 4th, and Adrian Schumacher, he is back in 20th position right now. Not really sure what's going on back here.
Could be ultimate say-it mode, that's what I'm guessing. Because it looks like he's just taking it easy. He has some damage on the right side of the car there, as you can see right there. Not too significant, but there is damage there, so maybe it's not safe mode. Maybe he got in a little bit of trouble, but he definitely doesn't want to cause more damage to that vehicle, so it looks like he's taking it easy for the time being.
Definitely, and so when you get damaged this early in the race, especially when this race looks like it's going somewhat green right now, all you can hope for is for somebody else to mess up. That's the only chance you have.
Yes, and at Atlanta, your aero does play a factor. It's not like at Phoenix where you can kind of ding in the doors and be okay. You need all that surface to be straight, to be fast at Atlanta. So he's gonna have to get that fixed, but it's one of those things where if he has to make a green flag pit stop, I don't think he takes the extra time to sit there and fix that damage because of how much he's going to give up. He's going to need caution to get that damage fixed up.
Yeah, just watching our race leader right now, James Shanewolf. Remember, he is in contention for that 6th place through 8th place, and so he is racing for money out there.
And just like I mentioned when we were talking around lap 3 and 4 about all these JW cars up front and burning fuel, you've seen them all kind of switch around and swap back and forth, and I think they're kind of monitoring that strategy and what these cars are doing, and that's the beauty of having your teammates all up front like this, is you can communicate with them and make maneuvers to help all you guys achieve the strategy you're trying to set out.
And for those of you that missed this originally, let us show you really quickly the team matchups here, because right now we have this something huge going on. We've got JW Racing in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and we have Tank Racing in 4th, 5th, and 6th.
That's really tight, and if JW finishes 1, 2, 3, then that math's easy. They win the team championship, but Tank is right on their heels, really close. And with JW, this is just something we've seen a lot, especially towards the end of this year, because they joined a little bit later in the season, is they're able to put a bunch of their cars up front and run together up front. The only times we saw it not work out was just a couple misplays in strategy, but as far as pure speed goes, we've seen them be able to put JW cars all inside that top 5.
Yeah, so 6 of our top 7 now are involved in that team championship, so Tank Racing is going to do everything they can to get in front of these guys to win that extra $200.
This also shows you how much these teams care about the team championship, and I can tell you, at JBR, we celebrated that team championship last night as hard as we could, virtually on Discord. We were so happy to win it, and it means a lot. For us, our stance was it means more than one of us winning the individual championship, which sounds crazy, but we just take so much pride in running as a team and being able to put 5 race cars on the track and run all together really well. But our first playoff driver's right there behind him here, Vincent Cortez in 4th, and he's chasing down these JW cars pretty quickly.
Now remember, he won back at Phoenix, so he has not won on one of these 1.5-mile tracks yet. But Phoenix is kind of one of those weird tracks that races like one of these tracks. So I think he's got the talent to do it. Again, just the people that he's raced against this entire season, there's been so much parity and equality out there on the track as far as talent levels that getting just one win on the season is amazing for anyone.
And it is very tough in any of these series to win, and so just winning is an achievement. But man, that 69 Ford Mustang is looking real quick here early, and it looks like he's saved a little bit better than these JW cars, because he's getting to them and passing very quickly. He's able to keep that car right on the bottom of the racetrack and really not slide up all the way to the wall, which just shows me he's saved a little bit of those tires and kept the temperatures down on him, and he's just able to have a little bit more grip than those other guys around him.
Yeah, Vincent Cortez moves into 2nd place. Devin Zimmerman in 5th place, looking to make a move here on Drew Ballesteros to get into the top 4.
Yeah, and Drew Ballesteros is staying right there, and he obviously started on the pole, and I was worried about him pushing a little bit hard and how far up he started, but looks like he's held onto it pretty well and isn't losing too much time. But you see some of the guys that were able to keep a little bit temperature off their tires are able to come through the field a little bit faster here, and that's what you're seeing about 18 laps in. That's when you're usually going to see the people that were saving tires start to have a little bit of advantage.
Going back in the pack just a little bit, we got Zach Deuscher here on the inside of Corey Saucier, and also trying to make a move here on Nathan Nixon in the 98.
Yeah, and these guys, they're giving each other plenty of room, like you said, Sean. And there's a lot of dudes that work here in the corners, and so you see people run the top and the bottom. They're getting a little squirrely there on the backstretch.
That's
looks like
Brandon Domain.
Whoever that is up there at the top. Got a little bumper to him. Domain was a little bit sideways. You could read his door number looking straight down the backstretch, which usually isn't a good sign.
Not at all. Let's head back up to this cluster up here. Tristan Bailey, Greg Olenek, and Jordan Bain, bumper to bumper to bumper here.
Yep, 3 playoff drivers that all started inside the top 15, all running right together here, and being respectful of each other. They know there's 100 laps still to go in this championship fight, so they're not going to put the bumper to them yet. But as we get towards the end of this race, you might see something like that if they're going for that big money. But No, this is just winding out as a good opening run. Everybody's getting a feel for what their car is going to do over the long course of a run, and figure out what they need to do to maybe adjust their driving to save a little bit more.
Well, in the meantime, sorry we missed it here. Vincent Cortez has gone all the way up to the lead. So Vincent Cortez leading the race and the championship right now.
And that doesn't surprise me. You saw how fast he got to those JW cars, and he worked right through them in a hurry because we saw him catch him in about lap 16, and he passed all of them in 4 to 5 laps. That car's on a move. He's already got out to about a 4/10 of a second lead. So now he's got that clean air, and that car's going to handle even better in that clean air. Since he saved a little bit more than some of the cars behind him, I am going to go ahead and say he's going to pull away a little bit further here, but we got a long way to go. It's still green flag pit stops that are going to have to be made in about 10 to 15 laps, and that'll shake things up. We'll see what kind of strategy everybody wants to play.
Well, last time we checked in on Adrian Schumacher, he was back in 20th position with a little bit of damage on his car. Still has the damage, but he has moved all the way up to the 11th position now. Oh, and we've got a yellow flag. We've got a yellow flag here. Dylan Patterson was off the track. I believe Nathan Nixon. Yep, Nathan Nixon sideways on the track.
Oh, yeah, and he's missing the front clip of that race car, so he's hit something hard with the front end of that car, it looks like. Back panel's missing too, and things smoking, so he hit quite a few things apparently, but our Beer Street General Rec replay will show us exactly what happened.
We will go back and find out. Remember, go to beerstreetjournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, please drink responsibly. Dylan Patterson, Nathan Nixon, and Nathan De La Rosa side by side, 3 wide, and it just looks like they ran out of room. Oh, Brandon Domain involved in that as well. So is Stan Hausman in the 39.
Yeah, it looks like Nathan was just in the middle of those 3 cars right there, and that car gets really unstable right there. Yeah, right with that 66, he's pulling the air off of that 98. That's going to get him loose, and man, even when you get that close and might not even touch, the iRacing net code will sneak up on you and pull those cars around. That might have happened right there too, because I know that's a tough area for that. But yeah, the 66 pulling around him on the outside, he just that takes a lot of air off that 98. He's going to get a little loose and have to chase it. When he corrected it, the 66 is already there, so. Collected a couple cars, but no playoff drivers involved there.
That is right. So definitely getting back out there on the track as everyone coming down pit road, everyone wants those fresh tires and that fuel.
Yeah, and let's see. It looks like, everybody's coming down pit road here. Everybody's going to want tires and fuel. I think if you go a green flag run anywhere north of 8 to 10 laps, you're going to want tires every time. Otherwise, the difference is going to be way too much.
Well, Vincent Cortez wins that race off of pit road. Matthew Robinson second, Drew Ballesteros third, James Shamewell fourth, and I believe Seth Reid is going to be fifth.
Yeah, so not too much of a shake up here, as I think everybody just went ahead with the 4 tires and fuel and get my service and move on. So not big shakeups right there. Another thing we're going to have to watch over the course of this race is the pit road speed is 50, which is not too far off than most tracks. However, something about this pit road makes it easy to speed on. So all these guys, especially our playoff drivers, are going to try to have to go to mistake-free over the course of the night to still keep their championships hopes alive, because the last thing you want to do is have a pit road penalty and cost yourself a bunch of positions.
Well, let's see if we can't get. Actually, you know what? He's got his headphones on. He's muted all this stuff. Now he doesn't. Let's see if we can get Vincent Cortez up here into the booth and just kind of check in on him really, really quickly. Vincent Cortez, Sean Griffith, and Jonathan Byer up in the booth. Man, how's it going?
It's going great, yo. How are y'all?
Doing good. I know we're 1 to green. Just really, really quickly, what's your strategy for the rest of the race here?
Saving tires, man. I feel like it's the only thing you can do here. So, especially with it being fixed setups, it's really the only deciding factor on who has the faster, longer car.
Do you see this thing going green the rest of the way?
I see a bunch of 20-lap runs.
All right, man. Sounds good. Well, we'll let you get back down there and concentrate. Congratulations on a great season. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Drop him back down into tank racing. A whole gaggle of people down there in tank racing, all sorts of spotters, all sorts of drivers, everybody down there rooting on their team. And so Vincent Cortez leading the way here. All their hopes are on him right now. Adrian Schumacher back in 18th position. He had to take about 32 seconds of damage repair. Greg Olenek had to take about 28 seconds of damage repair in that caution.
And that's the right time to do it. It's early. There's a caution. You're not going to give up that much time, and you still have time to get those positions back. Go ahead and get that damage fixed and get ready to go the rest of the way.
Well, we are about to get started once again. Green flag is out, and Vincent Cortez takes off once again. Now that he's got this this front position here on this restart, this is definitely better than where he started in the race. He started in the race 5th. Is this one of those times that he's probably going to pull away just further than ever?
He could if he's not careful, and I say that because you really don't want to. You want to continue to save. We listened to him say saving tires is going to be key, but when you have nobody in front of you and you're the leader, it's easy to get carried away and just go. And I just don't think he wants to open up a very big gap because, you know, that might cost too much in the tire category. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gives up the lead here to maybe the JW cars again and then goes right back by him in about 10 to 15 laps because he doesn't want to push right now. He's got no reason to, and it's not going to play into his strategy. So he could pull out in a gap, but I don't think he needs to, and I think he's going to try not to.
You know, the biggest thing that about what he talked about in that interview was he said that he thought this was going to be a bunch of 20-lap runs. And so in one sense, you want to save those tires just in case it's a long run. But in the other sense, if it's going to be 20-lap runs each time, but you want to get all that you can get while you're out there. And so it's kind of he's going to have to be in that delightful that center, that gray area there.
That's right. And, you know, I think the reasoning behind why he said a bunch of 20-lap runs is because, we got the JW car going around there. It looks like he got tapped by the 88 of Tristan Bailey. Everybody's keeping it straight. I don't know how. It's going to be a tight merging back on the racetrack, but no caution. Everybody's still going. It's going to cost James Shadewell quite a few spots and Tristan Bailey as well because he's the one that got into his left rear corner. We'll have to see where he shakes out, but that could have been big in front of a couple playoff drivers right there.
Yeah, Tristan Bailey will shake out in the 11th position now. And so we will check his car really quickly, see if he's got any damage. I don't see any on that side.
It's going to be on the right front of that car.
I don't see it.
Well, looks like he got away with it right there. No damage, so that's a good sign for that 88, but that could have been, if James Shadewolf didn't hold on to that race car like he did, that could have been disastrous. But back to what we were saying about Vincent Cortez and his 20-lap comment is, that's when your handling really starts to go away if you didn't be careful with those tires early in the run, and that just leaves margin of error where a guy can push it a little hard and it steps out. And I think that's what we saw earlier with that wreck that happened coming out of 4 is your tires are worn, there's not a lot of grip left in them, and you just step that boundary. And so 20 to 30 laps is usually when that window is, and so he's not wrong for thinking that strategy can play out.
Well, this is how close these two teams are. Just with James Shadewolf kind of getting pushed to the back because of that little incident there, all of a sudden, Tank Racing now has about a 6-point lead on JW Racing in those team standings. So, and now with Matthew Robinson passing and getting those 3 bonus points, it might flip the other direction now.
And Sean, guess what? Blink and it might go right back. That's going to be what we're going to see all night. You know, all these guys are super competitive. They're all really fast so far tonight. They're going to be running up here. They're going to keep swapping positions, but you see Cortez give up the lead there, and I don't even think he's sweating it. I think he's just telling Matthew Robinson, go ahead, take it, burn up your tires. I'll come back and get you in about 10 laps. And I think that's the right mindset to have, and so we'll have to see how that shakes out as we go a little bit further into this run.
Well, going back through the playoff drivers really quickly, Vincent Cortez here in 2nd place. Next up, Jordan Bain here in 9th, but you can see right on his tail, Tristan Bailey in 10th. And then you go back to Greg Olenek in 14th. And then Adrian Schumacher bringing up the rear right now in 16th position, but believe me, he is not one that's going to stay back there.
No, and they did take that time to fix that damage, so they were at the tail end of that lead lap group, and so, they had to come from the mid-20s, the low 20s to get back to where they're at. So they're on the move, however, they're being nice and cautious with it, methodical with how they get through the field, not putting themselves in danger, but also taking care of those tires that they desperately are going to need at the end of this run. So I think they're doing a great job with what they have.
You can see everybody kind of getting lined up. They really want to get to a green flag pit stop because that is where all the strategy comes together. And so we have had some really good luck this year and some good driving out there where we've had a lot of green flag laps and a lot of green flag pit stops this season. So kudos to all the drivers out there. We're probably going to see some more here tonight.
Yeah, you're right on, Sean. I mean, you've watched and I've watched enough of these races to know you never know what's going to happen next, and you might blink and the whole race might change. But, just the sure, like you said, the parity we've seen in this series is incredible. And just like you're seeing here tonight, you're seeing a bunch of different guys poke their nose out and lead a lap early in this race, and a bunch of guys that are competing for a bunch of different things tonight. So, man, it's not too early to get excited, but there's still a long way to go and a lot of racing to happen.
Not to completely confuse everybody out there, but for the top 5 as well as those that are going for 6th through 8th position, bonus points do not matter tonight. So it doesn't matter how many laps you lead, doesn't matter if you have a clean race, does not matter. If all that matters is you're the first one of those to cross that finish line. On the other end, the team championship does depend on those bonus points, as well as the second tier championship depending on those points as well. So some of those second tier drivers like Matthew Robinson, like Drew Ballesteros, are wanting to lead that lap for that second tier championship.
Sean, it sounds like you're comparing an accountant to an economist. I know you get that reference, but it's like the accountant, it's whoever crosses that line first. It's those guys competing for that 1st through 8th place prize. But then you have the economist, you have the team championship, where it pays to have a teammate go lead a lap, and it pays to have a teammate go win the race.
Definitely. So everybody racing for something here tonight, and that's one of the beautiful things about Speed Racing Network is everybody's always racing for something, whether it's the race payouts, whether it's the second tier, whether it's team championship, whatever it is, there's always money to be raced for.
And that's what's incredible about SRN and why we appreciate all of our sponsors for the series and everybody that competes, because this is one of the premier iRacing leagues and groups out there, and it's incredible that they give their drivers the chance to compete for money every week, and then this big money we get to hand out tonight.
Oh, yeah, and it's fun for us to hand out that money. It is fun for us to be able to say, here's your $500. Now, because Speed Racing Network is an LLC in the state of Tennessee, we actually have to get Social Security numbers. We have to we have to go through paperwork in order to do it for tax purposes. But all those drivers, man, they love it when that $500 hits their account.
Oh, and if we ever have any question about how that relates to our taxes, at least we know a tax guy that can help us with it, right?
Yeah, you'll see Silverback Tax Solutions out there on some of these cars. That is my company, Silverback Tax Solutions. We specialize in dealing with the IRS and any issues that come up with the IRS. So, of course, if you get any letters or anything like that from the IRS, you're on their radar. You're going to need somebody to fight back. That's Silverback Tax Solutions. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug right there. Yeah, shameless plug, but we appreciate you putting your logo out there on cars in this series and being a part of broadcasting. And this is a great avenue for any business that wants to showcase what they do. Cheap advertising space, you could say, on these race cars and all these teams. And from a team owner's perspective myself, all these guys appreciate the businesses that support the Speed Racing Network teams.
Yeah, definitely. I know some of your sponsors, you've been really good. Jonathan Byer Racing is incredible at getting sponsors and then advertising those sponsors. One of those being Glitch Energy, who Jonathan Byer turned me on to just a couple of weeks ago. And so I've already got my Glitch Energy starter pack. I am absolutely loving the watermelon flavor. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm a pink lemonade guy myself, but all the flavors are good. If you do find yourself wanting some, use code JBR10 on Glitch's website. That'll save you 10% and it'll help the JBR team, and we appreciate everybody that supports us. And when it comes to these sponsors, like you see here on the Vincent Cortez machine, not only are we able to create awesome looking race cars like that red, white, and blue car, but we're able to give businesses a nice return on their investment in our race teams, because this is a cheaper avenue to go than sponsoring a NASCAR car, which has to pay to get wrapped in all the parts, tires, and things like that. But here you're just paying for either entry fees or design fees to be on the race car, and we'll do the rest. We'll help you grow your business and
we
achieve
got some
whatever goals
damage
you
there.
have. But,
Jordan Bain.
a little bit of contact. 2 playoff drivers got some door action right there, and it looks like Bain has some damage on both sides of that car. We'll have to keep an eye on how that affects the performance of his car, but definitely slowing him up right there. I don't think Tristan Bailey got it as bad, but he's also off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of damage. I think I saw some scraping. Yeah, I see a little bit of scraping there, but not nearly as much as Jordan Bain, who's got a lot of damage on that right side.
Yeah, that looks a lot like that damage we saw in that Schumacher machine, which was about 31 seconds, we figured, of damage repair. So that's considerable, and especially on a track where aerodynamics do make a difference. He's going to have a caution like Adrian did to get that fixed, but it's definitely going to affect his performance until he can get that repaired.
I got to tell you, that looks a lot more like a lot more than 30 seconds or so of damage repair. That looks fairly substantial.
And what's interesting is we might have to go back and take a look at that, because he got into the wall on the back stretch, kind of in the middle, so I don't know if it was a misjudgment with the 88 below him or they just touched or something, but that was interesting to see an incident right there. But man, 2 playoff drivers having a little bit of drama here towards the middle part of this race.
We're going to do that. We're going to try to check out a quick wreck replay here and find out exactly what happened, because they were side by side for a long time there. So hopefully we get the correct replay here, as they're going to be side by side coming off this corner. Bain's going to get that upper line.
On the back stretch here. I don't know if it was right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. They're going to go 3 wide. Anytime you go 3 wide, it's typically not a good deal. Looks like Tristan Bailey gets a little bit out of shape.
Yeah, it's going to probably happen right here on the back stretch. I think it's this coming lap, because I don't see that damage yet. Let's see what happens here.
We're going to try this one more
time. Of course, kind of all in a gaggle right there.
Yeah, oh, there it is, right there, I believe. So, oh, yeah.
Yeah, there it was. So the 2 was a little bit slower, and I don't think the 28 was too patient with that. And the 88 was to his inside, and I think the 28 was trying to get around the 2 and toward the 88, which certainly sent him into the wall. No, I just think he walked a little bit. I don't even think he was trying to get around the 2. That's interesting. We have a caution.
Oh, we do have a caution on the track. Let's go back and figure out what happened there. I believe that's going to be Michael Larch, who was, if I remember correctly, driving somewhat up front a little bit earlier. So, not sure what happened to him. Let's go to yet another rec replay brought to you by BeerStreetJournal.com. And always remember to please drink responsibly. It looks like Michael Larch and Devin Zimmerman.
Saw the back end of that car torn up a little bit, so see what happened here. Zimmerman gets in the corner a little hot, and 52 kind of walks up the track a little bit, and, well, Zimmerman was still there. And that is what we'll call a good old racing incident on older tires, where you're being a little too aggressive for how old these tires are, and I think the 52 got a little shot and then just couldn't hold that bottom, and Zimmerman was right on his outside. That's going to collect them both, and both are going to have a considerable amount of damage, but looks like everybody else got around unscathed.
Yeah, big implications there for the second tier championship for Michael Larch. Also big implications for the team championship as well. So massive, massive stuff going on here. Even though they're not in that top 5 playoffs, oh, that's going to be big.
Yeah, I think like we said, there's so much going on here tonight, with a lot of drivers in the league, that every caution, every incident is going to involve somebody that's competing for something. And so, like you said right there, with JW, there's some team championship implications, but also with Michael specifically, there's some second-tier implications as well.
Well, Vincent Cortez comes and gets his pit stop, and he is right back out there into the lead once again. Drew Ballesteros will be in second. Corey Saucier has moved all the way up into third place in that Baby Ruth number 19.
He's having quite a run here tonight, and he's been heating up a little bit as the season has wound to a close. We saw him real competitive and a nice associate driver in the Truck Series last year. He's really finding his feel in these Xfinity cars towards the end of this year and having a great run tonight. He's one of those that are currently in the battle for the second tier championship. But like we saw when we interviewed Cortez, as he was talking about those 20-25 lap runs, and that's exactly what we had right there. So right on cue, same strategy plays out. So we haven't seen green flag pit stops yet.
Well, I'll let you know, half a second on pit road is a lot. It is a big gap when you get to pit road. Corey Saucier was half a second faster than literally anyone on the track on pit road there. Not in the pits itself, but down pit lane. So iRacing does a really good job of keeping everybody fairly comparable in the pit box itself, but going down pit lane, that is where you can make up some time, and Corey Saucier did just that by being half a second faster than anyone on that pit lane.
And you can push the limits of the speed a little bit, and obviously there's a area you don't want to be in. You definitely don't want to speed, but you can kind of bump up and down that 50-mile-an-hour range, and make up a little bit of time if you're very diligent and careful with it. So there's a way to be more efficient down pit road, and Corey's figured that out. And anytime when everybody's on pit road, you can find a little bit extra, that's going to be huge because that's a great opportunity to pass a bunch of race cars.
Vincent Cortez leads this thing. Let's go back down through our playoff 5 here. So Vincent Cortez in first place. He is our top dog right now. In ninth place, you got Greg Olenek in the Moo and Brew. Even after getting some damage fixed on that last caution, he's up here. Adrian Schumacher in 11th after that damage was repaired on that last caution. Now the two guys that got into each other here, Tristan Bailey back here in 19th. He spent an extra 30 seconds or so on his car getting it fixed, and Jordan Bain had to take over a minute in the pit box to get his repairs done. But that car looks a whole heck of a lot better than it did a few minutes ago.
That's what I was just about to say, Sean. That car does look a lot better than it did a few seconds ago. Obviously, no fast repairs here, so he's not going to get a new race car that's completely clean. He's still going to have to deal with a little bit of aerodynamic disadvantage for the rest of the night, but, thankfully for him, a caution came out where he was able to take that whole minute of extra time on pit road to get probably most, if not all, that damage fixed. That car's going to be a lot more competitive now than it would have been if he hadn't got that damage fixed.
Yeah, beautiful car to start off with, but getting it fixed as much as physically possible. Loving that B Water scheme there, as well as they are a good sponsor for him. They have actually started another series as well on a night that doesn't compete with us, so we'll shout that out a little bit. There is a league going on with B Water as a sponsor.
Yes, and we're going back green here. We had a stack up on the top line. I'm not sure if any cars got around, but man, there were some cars completely sideways. Looks like everybody sorted it out, but a bunch of the JW cars in the mid-pack got stacked up right there. They're going to lose some time, but Vincent Cortez was in control of that restart, and he remains in control of the field.
Yeah, you said it earlier. JW does a good job of getting all together on the track and then really taking the entire race by storm. Well, now they are all separated out. Drew Ballesteros is in 4th, James Shaywolf in 13th, Matthew Robinson in 17th, Michael Larch down in 22nd. So they're going to have to do something to get bunched back up together again so they can work their way back up front.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some way to try and find some track position, whether that be strategy or just trying something other than the leaders. But, they were looking like the hands-down favorite for that team championship when this race started, but that has been flipped around completely now with them all separated. Things are getting a little bit of heat up there at the front with Vincent Cortez and others.
Yeah, we are 2 by 2, 3 rows back from Vincent Cortez. So definitely people are chasing him down, and he just kind of wants to get away from them, to get away from all this cluster that's about to happen.
See these guys running 2 by 2. I think they realize that, okay, this race is about at halfway. I need to position myself to be competitive for the rest of this race, and I need to try to get every position I can. And I think you see that aggression a little bit as we see, looks like Seth Reid. Yeah, Seth Reid going to the outside of Cortez here. If I'm Cortez, I do want to stay in that lead because I want that clean air, but I don't want to waste my tires and overheat them by racing these guys too hard, because all these guys around them, they're not in the championship battle. The next guy you have to beat is Greg Olenek back in 9th, so you got to kind of play a little risk assessment right here.
Problem is there's nowhere to go. So even if you want to let these guys pass you, so hey, I'm not going to burn my tires up or anything like that. Where are you going to go? You can't go up because there's people up there. You can't go down because you're below the line. And so he's going to float out to the outside here, it looks like, and let them take that bottom line.
Yeah, I think he's just going to kind of just take it easy and ride and let the guys that are on offense be aggressive and find their way around him rather than him trying to get out of the way. Because sometimes you can do more harm than good by trying to get out of the way yourself and just stay where you are and let the guys that want to pass you find their own way around. That way it doesn't cause an incident. But things are starting to settle down now that everybody's getting lined up. But for a second there, it was a little risky.
Well, you've got Seth Reid up front. He is competing for that 6th to 8th place crown, as well as Aaron Gerwitz here in 4th position, competing for that 6th to 8th place, and Bo Tiffany back here in 6th. So believe me, everybody is racing their best race right now, trying to get any money available.
Yeah, we've seen that 6 through 8 bunch heat up quite a bit in the middle section of this race. A bunch of those guys over there you see in yellow, that's them that are competing for that 6 to 8 prize money. They realize there's still money out there for them tonight, so they're not going to just sit back and watch the championship battle. They want to be on offense too and go get what they can. But great run so far tonight for Gerwitz winning 3rd.
Yeah, he would love to get himself a win here tonight and kind of spoil that championship for anybody. Nothing can spoil the championship, but it's nice to win the race and win the championship.
Oh, the 54 was dead sideways in the middle of the corner. I don't know who that was that got into him. Whoever was right behind that 54 car put the bumper to him, and now we got cars all over the place on the front stretch.
Oh, boy, and you got Tristan Bailey right in the middle of this. Tristan Bailey, oh, no, that's Dylan Patterson. Gets into Bo Tiffany.
They're going to go around, and caution.
Oh, no, and Jordan Bain got into it.
Jordan
Bain again.
Bain, great damage. Oh, this is turned into quite the sequence of events here. It looked like they wrecked like 8 different times right there, and then finally the one that Jordan Bain got caught up was the end of it, and that car has big damage on it now.
Yeah, that is not good at all. He is going to have to struggle to stay in this race now. We will go back and look at it from his point of view.
We're going to have to watch a lot of what happened here because a lot of things got hit here. There's nowhere to go. That's big damage on the front of that car, and then the 61, and yeah, that car's going to be...
oh, boy.
It's crushed up like a tin can, and if he has any engine damage on that thing, that might be the end of his championship hopes, unfortunately.
We'll back
Bo
it up
Tiffany
a little
sideways. We saw Bo Tiffany. He got into the 54 corner early, and that's what stacked all these. And then getting into 1 here, gets a little bit tight, gets out of it. The 8 gets right in the back of him, and then when you have a car in the middle of the corner off the pace with smoke and guys can't see past it, it's going to be a pinball of sorts, and that's what you saw right there. Yeah. 61 involved.
Derek Da Silva involved.
Yeah, the 61, he was almost through it. He gets down to the flat, and then the 28 catches the 13, and then
there you can really see
not
the
too bad damage on that car.
You can really see the damage
not
on
too bad,
Jordan Bain there.
You see no front bumper on that 28. That's not really going to be too effective for this the rest of this race.
No, it is not. Seth Reid going to come out of the pits in 1st place. Vincent Cortez in 2nd. Aaron Gerwitz in 3rd. Zach Deutscher in 4th. Nobody's taking the 2-tire strategy that we saw some drivers take last night, which just did not work. So a lot of these drivers paid attention to that race and figured out that the 2-tire strategy just does not work here at Atlanta.
You said just what I was about to say, Sean. What's nice for these Xfinity drivers is they can watch the Truck Series race the night before and learn what works and what doesn't. Obviously, the cars are different. They're going to drive different. But strategy-wise, you could take notes between series and talk to, if you have teams associated with yours in the other series, talk to them and ask how things went and what you can do. And I think after watching what happened when guys took 2 tires last night, these Xfinity guys are like, no thanks. We're good. We don't want to take any part of that. But Do notice here we have Tristan Bailey and Adrian Schumacher back inside the top 10 after falling back to repair that damage earlier. And then here's Jordan Bain coming back off pit road, currently in P20, but that car doesn't look like it's going to be very competitive with no front bumper on it.
Well, still, he's staying on the lead lap. He's hoping for some more cautions. He's hoping for more time to come in and get that car repaired a little bit more. And that's going to be what he has to do.
And Sean, last night, the playoff drivers just staying on the lead lap is what won the playoff championship last night. It wasn't because they were going out there and win. All the playoff drivers gotten some sort of damage, and it was whoever was able to stay on the lead lap and fix their damage the most. So that just goes to show you that, if Jordan Bain can't just load it up in the hauler and go home because he thinks it's done, he's got to keep pushing because he never knows what could happen. And we still have just under halfway of this race to go.
Oh, yeah, and so far I believe everyone has gotten some. Actually, Vincent Cortez, I think, is the only clean playoff driver as it sits right now. And so you just never know how it's going to end up. And you got to remember that fifth place gets $80. Fourth place gets $120. So it's a $40 difference if you just stay out there long enough for someone else to mess up.
That and passing one guy on the racetrack is $40 worth. So that's how much each position can matter towards the end of this race, and that'll be what's interesting to watch as this winds down. But like you said, with Cortez being clean, I think a lot of that has to do with him being able to get that car out front and keep it out front. And so, there's some payoff to being able to do that. You're not in the back where if something happens, you're kind of in a more risky area, or there's more likelihood of a wreck happening in front of you. So Cortez playing the right strategy, keeping that car out front, out of trouble. He's just going to have to try to do his best to keep it there.
Well, they're stacking them up 2 by 2. We will see if we can get this thing clean. Once again, Jordan Bain trying to catch up to the field after he went back into the pits again to get a little bit more damage fixed. It was only about 24 seconds, but if he can whittle that damage down little by little by little, then he could possibly just stay on this lead lap and bring it home, maybe fourth, maybe third, depends on what happens with these other guys.
That's right, and that still pays money. Obviously not the championship money, but there's a reason to go out there and compete and still do it. So coming back to the green here, Seth Reid's going to be in control. He's going to get out to a nice jump here as we complete 66 laps.
Yeah, you can see on the left side, we only have 3 cars that are not on the lead lap right now, but in dead last of those cars that are on the lead lap, Jordan Bain sits there. So we will have to see if maybe, just maybe, he can work his way forward with that damaged car. But if you look at 8th, 9th, and 10th here, all of these guys, that's 8th and 9th. Adrian Schumacher a little bit further back here, but they are bumper to bumper to bumper, basically, for that second place position. So that's $300 goes to the second place winners.
Yeah, you just have to be very careful right in here when you see that group in front of Adrian. That's just a gaggle of race cars that Craig Olenek is on the tail end of, and I think Adrian's just fine sitting where he is right there. A little bit of gap to that group, and let them sort it out before I get there to keep myself out of too much trouble. But like we said earlier, Cortez not having to worry about that being so far up front, but these guys kind of battling here in the middle, like Olenek, Bailey, and Schumacher. They have to be methodical and really be careful about who's around them and when to make moves and when to pass.
Yeah, because we've had as many cautions as we've had, they really have to just be concentrating on just keep the car moving forward. Because it's not one of those races where you have to worry as much about strategy because we haven't had a green flag pit stop yet. Now, we might get one here, which will throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing, especially with the timing of that green flag pit stop. So just be on the lookout for that if we do stay green the rest of the way.
That's right, and you can make it on one stop from here, so if there is a green flag pit stop, I'd assume these guys would split it in half, but you never know. But this is why when teams are playing their strategy, you have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, and once the race starts and you get a couple laps in, you kind of know that plan C is not going to work, so then you have 2 options, and whether a caution comes out or we go green right here, those are going to be your two options of what you choose to do for the rest of this race. And so you have to keep both options open and just see what happens. You can't close yourself off to just do one strategy. And I think that's what's going to tell who's going to win this race and who's going to win the playoff, is who has multiple strategies still in mind and can execute whenever a caution does or doesn't come out and immediately knows what they're going to do, doesn't second guess, carries it out. Because if you're more decisive on what you want to do on strategy, you're always going to be more successful.
Well, just an update, Jordan Bain drastically off the pace here. So he is already 12 seconds behind the lead pack, basically. So he is either extremely babying this thing to hope that it does not blow up, or that engine is severely down on power.
I would guess that thing is just that far down on power, but obviously an aerodynamic disadvantage with no front bumper. So we'll see what happens. But battles up front here. We got Cortez and Seth Reid going for the lead. We got a battle back there for fourth between Zach Deutscher and James Shadewolf. So a lot of battles going on here up front.
Yeah, these second place, third place, and fourth place, all of them going for that 6th, 7th, and 8th place money. And so that's $60, $40, and $20 there. So still, nice little difference there between 6th place, 7th place, and 6th place and 8th place there. So they have a lot to race for. Just passing one guy is an extra $20 for them.
Yep, $20 richer is always nice. So, of course, they're thinking about that. Drivers can't channel that out of their mind, but you know, Cortez, I like what he's doing here. He's keeping the bottom, he's protecting it, but he's not. He doesn't look like he's driving that car too hard. He's keeping plenty of distance away from that 81, so we don't see a situation that happened on the backstretch earlier with the 28 and the 88. So smart here, just letting the race play out, not trying too much. And I'm surprised how close all these guys at front are staying and not getting strung out so far. But we'll see what happens as this run goes on.
Yeah, Aaron Gerwitz moves into second position on the outside. James Shadewolf going to look for third here, trying to pass Vincent Cortez on the outside. And like you were saying, Vincent does not want to overdrive this thing in these corners.
Yeah, he definitely does not. And you just see him just riding that bottom, being easy. And you might think, oh my gosh, he's losing 3 positions. He's lost the lead. What's happening here? But he's not worried about it. You know, he knows what his car will do in the long run if he takes care of the tires early, and so he's content with doing what he's doing. And you know, he won't fall that far, because by the time he gets to where he is right now, that tire difference will level and then swing to his favor, and we'll see him be back on offense. But yeah, don't think something's wrong and he's just backing up and giving up spots. He is trying to be strategic here and save what he has.
He is doing great work right now about the Tristan Bailey closing in very quickly on him. As you can see, that 88 car just a couple spots back from Vincent right now.
Yeah, Tristan was a big gainer on that backstretch. A car did get in the outside fence. Couldn't tell who it was. It was a white car. Could have been Corey Saucier right back there on the high side, but he swung to the bottom and gained a couple spots right there. And he's got a little bit of gap right there, so he's able to get a little bit of clean air on that noise, which I think is going to help him catch that pack in front of him. But you know, when he gets up to Cortez, that's going to be the closest we've seen them all day, and we haven't seen them battle yet, so we'll see how they race each other, and we'll see them right next to each other and see who's able to have more speed. But I do think that by the time Bailey gets to Cortez...
Put up the wrong screen there. I apologize for that. So he does have wins at Auto Club and Nashville, and so he does like these ovals a lot. And Nashville a little bit shorter than this, and Auto Club right there around this area. So so he knows how to get around these tracks, and he's not super aggressive, but he's aggressive enough to get the job done.
And that's important. You do have to be aggressive, I believe, to be successful here, because you can't be afraid to play offense, but you know, you still have to manage and do what you do best as a driver. And like you said, you know, he's more comfortable on the ovals. He's won a track that's a little bit smaller version of this one at Nashville, and so, you know, like we said earlier, from what I've watched him race, he's a little more comfortable on the mile and a half. So he knows what his strengths are. He knows how to run them, and he's going to use that in his favor tonight. And you see Cortez, he saw him let some of those guys go, and here he goes. He's going to try to work right back around him.
Yeah, his car just seems to find the power after about 20 laps. And so he is back on the move once again. Would not surprise me to see him back up front.
And hear me out here. This is a race car driver analysis, but it's a total time from when they drop the initial green flag to the checkered flag. It's not the amount of time it takes you to do each lap individually. So what Cortez is doing is he's running more consistent laps from start to finish, rather than firing off, running a bunch of fast laps on new tires, and then paying the price later in the run because all the grip is out of those tires. They're too hot. They won't run. He has to get out of the gas some more and gives up time later in the run. When you're more consistent like that, you're able to keep that car in better positions. You're able to roll the corners a lot better and carry more throttle, which of course lets you run faster lap times towards the end of the run, which equals a better net average lap time at the end of the race, which you always know that the race winner has the best average lap time. So there you go. There's your analysis on how that works and what he's thinking.
I mean, it's the old days of Thunder thing where Harry says, Cole, you got to kind of slow down a little bit. And he's like, Harry, I'm not going faster. They're all going slower.
That's exactly what it is. And you see Jordan Bain right there going a lap down, and Cortez has to take an evasive maneuver because he was right in front of the 09 machine of Aaron Gerwitz, and that slowed him up. So they all avoided a catastrophe right there. But like you said right there, it's just this car comes to life because he's not pushing it any harder, but he just has better stuff because it's a little bit cooler, has a little bit more grip, and he's able to carry a little bit more throttle than the guys around him.
So just in case you missed it, Jordan Bain has gone a lap down. He is still out there on the track, but he has gone a lap down. He is currently sitting in that lucky dog position. So if a caution does happen, he's going to be able to get that lap back, but he is not going to be able to pit nearly as effectively from that position.
Yeah, that is true, and he's going to need a caution, I believe, to be back in this thing. He's not going to be able to get there doing what he's doing. He's going to need a little bit more, but he's still out there on the track, so he's still leaving himself a chance.
Well, going back to 8th place here, Adrian Schumacher. Take a look at this. I mean, he has worked his way all the way back. Last time we checked, he was basically back in 20th position with some damage, and now he is up here in 8th position, currently sitting 3rd in the championship.
We talked when he was making his qualifying lap. We said Adrian finds a way to just let races come to him, and then he takes advantage of it. And I think that's what's happening right here. I think he got that little bit of damage early, backed off, took it a little easy, let things work around, and got that damage fixed, got back in the strategy of everybody else, got a little bit of track position each time he had a caution, and then here, he finds himself in 8th and in a nice spot, and he's just going to continue to let this race come to him and throws him right back in the thick of things for the championship battle.
I think that's something that he learned from all the road racing that he does. That patience, if you want to learn patience, then go and compete on the road circuits, because you have to learn how to wait for your car to work the way it works for you.
And, a lot of people associate road racing with IMSA style racing, and you think about their 24-hour races. That's a lot of laps they compete in 24 hours, and granted they do it with multiple drivers, but you have to exercise patience, because being aggressive to pass one guy in one corner to risk what you might achieve over the course of 24 hours just isn't worth it. And so those practices that have become part of how Adrian Schumacher drives definitely works in his favor in races like this where patience pays off.
And so he is working his way forward. Let's go back to Greg Olenek back here in 10th.
New and Brew machine is still looking good, looking pretty clean. He had, I think, a touch of damage earlier, but got it fixed. I think it was about 30 seconds under an earlier caution. Another guy that's he's letting this play to him right now. We're coming close to about 30 to go. We're going to be close to that halfway split this last one pit window, which I believe is when guys are going to come down. Greg Olenek is an experienced driver, so I have confidence in him being able to pull off a green flag pit stop. Somebody was sideways. I could read their door number right there. I think you just said it was Lipicki. Yeah, saved that machine, but I could read the 46 as we panned in on Greg Olynyk, which means that car was sideways. Kudos to him hanging on to it right there. And there goes Adrian Schumacher, so he's going to gain another spot.
I believe the Lipicki race is a little bit on dirt, and it shows.
Quick hands is what the dirt lessons taught him right there, and those quick hands saved that race car from pointing down to that inside wall. But you see a bunch of guys getting loose off the corner right there. Somebody's in the fence in the middle of the back stretch. Corey got in the fence, and that was pretty hard too. That car's going to be hurt and off the pace, and he was that second car there. You saw tail coming off the corner. Get late in this run. These Xfinity cars don't have a lot of downforce as it is, and when these tires get hot and slick, you lose that rear drive off the corner. You're not able to put that power down the same way, and the back end kicks out. Very dangerous if you're not careful.
Oh, and, Seth Reid!
Wall right there. Seth Reid doing the same thing right there. These cars get really light and dancy because this is the longest we've had a run today. So these guys haven't tried this yet. Seth Reid's going to go ahead and come down pit road and get some tires.
Oh, and he blew it too.
That's likely going to be right there.
Yeah, that's likely going to be either a speeding penalty or clipping pit road there. So he will likely get a penalty for that. But Vincent Cortez regains the lead. And this just kind of shows how you have to be consistent each time around because that fall off is so much. Still have 30 laps to go. We are technically inside that pit window, but I think a lot of these guys, if they come in right now, they're going to be struggling the last 5 or 6 laps of this race.
Yeah, I think you got to go a couple more and really truly split this in half because you saw how many of those cars were dancing coming off the corner, and that's just a product, like I said, of how these cars and tires driving over the late course of the run. But you notice Cortez is not having that issue. He's able to get off the corner really solid. You don't see that car pitch sideways, and that's because he took care of those tires and kept the heat out of them early. So they're naturally going to have more grip as we wind down this run, and that's why he's able to be faster at the end of the run. He's able to put the power down and carry more throttle, and so since he's able to keep up such good lap times right now, I think he could run this fuel run completely out, then pit. He's going to have the best tires and be able to conserve still on that last run. But this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where it doesn't matter where you're running right now if you're a playoff driver. You have to be mistake-free on pit road, make a clean stop in and out to give yourself a chance and not hurt yourself.
And it looks like Seth Reid did get a penalty of some sort. He was in his pit stall for 57 seconds. So it looks like he got a 40-second penalty for blowing pit road there. So he is going to fall a lap down now.
And that could be catastrophic if it's a playoff driver. So, some of these guys, they might have to lean on the conservative side a little bit and just go, you know what? I'm going to take it a little bit easier getting on pit road. I might lose a little bit of time here, but that's better than having to come back around and serve a 40-second penalty.
Yeah, and keep in mind that he was going for that 6th, 7th, and 8th spot. And he was up in the lead of that at the time. So that could have been a $60 mistake just by blowing pit road. We saw a lot of that happen in the Cup Series when they had their cutoff race, where pit strategy and pit mistakes caused a couple of those drivers to completely miss the championship race because they just blew pit road one time.
And that's why some of the better drivers, and definitely our playoff drivers, practice pitting, practice that pit entrance, practice that pit exit, because that pays dividends. You're able to figure out what your limits are, getting on and getting off, and you just build confidence in not making a mistake. So we'll definitely see who's done that and who hasn't here, because we're definitely in the green flag pit stop window. I think we're going to see most cars come down here within the next few laps.
And now you got Adrian Schumacher, Tristan Bailey side by side for 3rd place on the track and 2nd place in the playoff championship. So big side-by-side action here for these two as Adrian Schumacher gets that spot.
If I'm these guys and I see Vincent Cortez staying out on the track every lap, I might come 1 or 2 laps early because I would be able to gain so much time on having a little bit fresher tires, and frankly, I can't beat him on doing what we're all doing right now, and I think that's what Greg Olynyk decided to do right here by bringing it down right now.
And so 1, 2, 3 now are our playoff drivers. Vincent Cortez has a 2.5-second lead on Adrian Schumacher, who has about a half-second lead on Tristan Bailey. And so the top 3 right now, all championship contenders, and that's what we really expected to see.
Yeah, and I thought Cortez might think about bringing it down pit road right there because Olenek just came down, and you want to try to play as close strategy you can to him as possible, but he's going to stay out on the track, and I think he's just going to run this out. But I like what Olenek did right there. Realized he was in the back portion of the top 10, and he wasn't going to catch the 69 on pure speed if he wants to compete for this championship. So buy a little bit different strategy. Don't do the same thing. So I like that move. We'll see what the 69 does as far as how he's going to play off that.
We'll see who is going to be the next playoff driver to dive into pit road. Greg Olenek is still the only one so far.
It's interesting to see the 82 and the 88 not differ from what Cortez is doing right now, because I believe they're in the same boat as Olenek. You're not going to run him down doing what you're doing because the gap hasn't really changed all that much, and that's about the same gap we're going to see at the end of the race because they're going to be about the same fuel when you're going to have 23 laps to go. I think you got to do something different, and if Cortez is going to stay out and run this thing dry, well, you can't run out further than him, so you're going to have to come short. So interesting to see that all three of these guys are staying out, but in the chances that a caution comes out, that could be a better strategy. We'll see.
Mike Lepicki pitting in from the 4th position on the track. And so he will get his probably final pit stop of the season. Vincent Cortez still holding a nice 2.5-second lead here, so he really doesn't have to push that hard unless he's concerned about Greg Olenek. And this could be one of those strategies also where, from the JBR strategy book of stay out there as long as you possibly can just in case it traps them a lap down.
And, that is the strategy we play sometimes, especially if we're feeling a caution. Tristan Bailey's going to go ahead and come down right here, and I like this move. Kind of separate yourself from the 69 and the 82 a little bit, but it's going to be interesting. When Cortez makes his pit stop, where he cycles out is going to be the tall tail. Where's he going to be in relation to Olenek, who pitted 5-6 laps before him? Where's he going to be in relation to the 88 that just came down because he's about 3 seconds in front of him? So Cortez staying on another lap here. He's banking on him being able to have the best tires at the end to be able to play offense, or he's still in the best position if extra caution comes out because he's able to trap guys a lap down. But Schumacher's staying out as well, so they're going to stay on the same strategy. Zach Dorscher comes and brings that 2 car down pit road.
And keep in mind that Vincent Cortez, Adrian Schumacher, all are teammates, so guaranteed they're talking about, okay, when do we want to do this?
Yeah, and that's what teammates are great for. And I'm guaranteed Cortez right now is thinking about, I need to make that pit stop, and there he is right there, because I think that's about as long as you can run on fuel.
Oh, and he
slides it getting in. He's going to wreck it getting on pit road. Oh, that's going to be big. That's going to give up a lot of time, and that's costly. That is very, very costly.
Vincent.
Oh, man. Just like we said, man, getting on pit road, there's so much risk, and you got to be mistake-free, and didn't hit anything, which is the good part of that whole situation, but, man, that's not what you want to see.
Oh, and we're going to have to see how bad that is on the track. Adrian Schumacher, he learned that lesson. He took his sweet time getting in there. And now Dylan Patterson, Nathan De La Rosa doing the same thing. So that's going to turn the lead over to Stan Hausman if he stays out on the track. And he will. So Stan Hausman will take the lead of this race. Doesn't really mean anything for him overall. And you can see how beautiful that car is. That is a Beer Street Journal car missing its hood. So I will tell you that it's sponsored by Beer Street Journal.
Yeah, thanks for plugging that right there, because I wasn't sure. I was looking at the car, and I was looking at the hood, and I go, well, there's no hood. I don't know what's going on there. But like we said earlier, Beer Street Journal, super thankful for them being a part of SRN. But Greg, speaking of brews, Greg Olenek in the Moon Brew car, now the front-running playoff car. However, car right behind him, that's Tristan Bailey, who's also competing for that championship, who pitted later. So he's going to have fresher tires than Greg. So I believe this battle right here is going to be the preliminary battle for the championship unless Adrian Schumacher is able to complete his service and run these guys all the way back down. He's about 3 to 4 seconds further back, but he's going to have much fresher tires than these two.
Man, I wish I had a heart rate monitor on Greg Olenek right now. He is probably beating 1 million beats per minute.
And that, unfortunately for him, that gap between him and the 88 is getting smaller and smaller as you see that 88 now close into that window. He pitted early. He got himself in front of all the other playoff guys, but man, the 88 and the 82 are going to be coming on those fresher tires, and I'm not sure there's much Greg can do about it. But Greg's going to have to be smart here and realize he's still competing for big money, even if he gets past here and stay with it. But you just see the difference on those tires is so big.
So he's going to dive down to the bottom of the track, and he is going to get side by side with Greg Olenek and take the lead of the race and the championship. Actually, he's not taking the lead of the race right now. I apologize for that. James Shane Wolf is still in the lead of the race, but he is taking the lead of the championship as we speak.
That's big right there, because all things considered, unless Adrian's fresh tires are able to run Tristan Bailey back down, I think Tristan is in the catbird seat if we stay green, that is. If there's a caution, everything gets shaken back up, and we might just not know what happens. But James Shane Wolf is leading this race, and he's one of those guys competing for that 6-8 prize pot. Aaron Gerwitz is in second. He's another guy that's competing for that pot, so they're doing their best to take home some of that money that's still running for the guys that got cut out in the last round. Tristan Bailey is in fourth that we just saw, so he's the front-running playoff driver, running fourth right now. We see Greg Olenek just lost a spot to Lipicki, so he's back to sixth, and then another spot, 2 spots back, Adrian Schumacher already back up to eighth, and we just saw him come down pit road the most recently, so he has the freshest tires. He's going to have the fastest lap times of those 3.
Well, and then go back to 13th position. That's where Vincent Cortez shakes out after that horrible pit road incident. Just big mistake there, and that's exactly what we're talking about. When all the pressure is on and it all comes down to one pit stop, and it's so hard to catch up after something like that happens unless there's another caution. And so that is what he is praying for right now, because as fast as he is 16 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, that's insurmountable without a caution, I believe. So he's going to have to just hope that somebody does something and he's able to do some kind of strategy to gain a bunch of track position. But, I said it's going to come down to clean pit stops, and unfortunately that's not what happened for Cortez, and that's likely going to cost him here. But Adrian Schumacher is coming. He is cutting down on the guys in front of him. Kind of equal distance still with Bailey from when we last checked in, but you see there on the bottom of your screen about 0.2 a lap is what he's gaining consistently in the last few laps.
Yeah, so 0.2 of a lap times 11 laps, 2.2 seconds, and he is currently 2.5 seconds behind Tristan Bailey. So could get very, very interesting towards the end of this race.
Yeah, it could, because with about 11 to go, I mean, if you do the math about how far he is back, Sean, that's right on it. They might catch each other with 3 to go, maybe the last lap, and wouldn't that be an incredible finish?
That would be just an amazing end to an amazing season. Let's see how well he did on this one. Another 0.3 of a second better. So Adrian Schumacher on his way.
Getting to him is one thing. Passing him when there's this much on the line is another. So we'll see how they race each other when he gets there. But I have no doubt Adrian's going to get there by the time we wind this race down. He just has so many extra laps on those tires that haven't been used up yet by being able to stretch that run out. And this is what you would have seen out of Vincent Cortez if he would have made that clean pit stop. But since he didn't, we get to see Adrian Schumacher play out that strategy.
So now Adrian working on Mike Lipicki, and then Drew Ballesteros will be in front of him by about 1.5 seconds, and then it's all eyes on Tristan Bailey after that. And so big racing about to happen here with 9 laps to go here at the Big Finish 180 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. The championship race, everything comes down to this, and they are here for it.
Man, all the playoff races have been incredible, but there's no better way to finish this than a little bit of strategy and drama, and we wouldn't want it any other way. And so Schumacher, he is on a tear right now. He is coming. He is still cutting that down by about 2 seconds. Oh, we got a caution out of the track. Somebody's sideways on the backstretch.
That is Derek Da Silva in the wall, and this changes everything.
Everything. Oh my gosh, we thought this couldn't get crazier. Here we go. Everybody's going to come get the tires because everybody's still got a set, and it's going to be a fire to the finish, but let's see what happened here to bring out this caution.
Well, we can see Derek De Silva here as the rec replay screen goes away here. We can see Derek De Silva. He's already damaged from an earlier caution. Tristan Bailey, oh man, and they just...
Oh, Tristan Bailey got around. I didn't see... He kept rolling is why I didn't see him, but I thought I saw a red spoiler on one of those cars, and so I was wondering what that was, but that's a lot of damage to that 88 machine, and man, he went... We've seen two of the guys that were leading the championship at one point in this race find trouble. We saw Cortez do it on pit road, and Bailey just there on the backstretch. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. I will let you know right now, I've raced with Derek De Silva. He has been in this series for a long time. He is not a dirty driver. So that I do not believe in any sense that that was on purpose at all. Just an incident out there on the track where, man, just worst time for it, to be honest. So 6 laps to go, and everybody coming in to get fresh tires and fuel. Is anybody going to take the bold strategy of right sides only? I highly doubt it.
That's just not, I'm not going to say it's not going to work because I'm not in those cars, but that would be almost impossible to pull off, I believe. But Shaneville comes off. Schumacher, great stop. He's going to be second, and we know he's been fast. We saw him just running down that 88.
I believe he did take right sides only.
Okay, so that's why he was up there so quickly and kind of jumped a bunch of spots. And with the trouble that I saw the 88 have, okay, here, I'm going to break this down. Not sure about the 2 tires because the 88 had some damage. You were already in front of the 31. The 88 is in 5th, but he has a lot of damage. I'm looking back to 8th, and I see Greg Olenek's sitting there with 4 fresh tires and going, you know what? This might be Greg Olenek's time, but it's just going to be whether or not Adrian can hold on with those 2 tires, but I think that's a tough task.
Well, and then how damaged is Tristan Bailey at this point? And so it looks like he was able to just take a regular pit stop there. So does he have the car that he needs to get back up there, especially if Adrian Schumacher only took right side tires? That could play into Tristan Bailey's hands right now if he's got the power.
I think Tristan Bailey realized there's so few laps left in this race. I don't have time to fix that damage. I got to get my tires and keep my track position and just hope the car's good enough. But the way that thing nosed in the wall, I don't think it's going to be very competitive. It's not going to be as bad as the Jordan Payne machine, but I don't think he's going to be able to get past the 82 on the 2 tires. But I don't trust the 82 being able to keep pace. So my pick, Greg Olenek, like I said back there at 8th, if he's able to find his way around these guys, I don't think they have much for him. So the only thing still in the balance is we're going to go green with about 3 to go. Is that enough time for Greg to make it that far? That's going to be what determines. So since it is only 3 laps, the 2 tires might just work.
Man, it is so hard to pass here that early in a run. I don't know, man. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side driving here as we are going to come to the stripe with 5 laps to go. And I believe we're going to hit the green, it looks like, with 3 to go is when we were going to get the green flag. So natural green-white checker finish, kind of. not really.
Kind of with an extra lap. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Sprint to the end, you could say, but Sean, I tell you what, these SRN playoff races always produce, and something always happens. Whether a long green flag run with strategy to end, a caution thrown in the mix, this is just right on brand. We love to see it. This has been a great race so far, and man, I don't think we're done with the action yet. Adrian Schumacher's going to be restarting there on the outside. Bailey starting P5. He's that 3rd car you see there on the bottom. Greg Olenek back in the 8th position, so he's 4th row top side. That gives you kind of a reference where those playoff drivers are sitting right now. Well,
can Adrian Schumacher do it with what I presume to be 2 tires? Just He had a 12-second stop while everybody else has a 15-second stop. So that's got to be only right sides. And so if that's the case, Tristan Bailey has the freshest tires out there of the playoff drivers and only 3 spots back.
Man, if he's able to pull that off with 2 tires, that's impressive. 12 is a little bit long for 2 tires, so I'm not sure. But here we go, back green, 3 laps to go, championship on the line. Let's see what happens.
Well, Aaron Gerwitz gets a good jump there on the inside, and he is going to move into the 2nd position in front of Adrian. And here comes Tristan Bailey.
And Greg is on the outside of Tristan Bailey. Looks like he's going to go around the outside. Ooh, squeezes down there in the backstretch. That was close. Yeah, Tristan Bailey machine is definitely slower. Not too bad, but not going to be able to keep up, it looks like. So Greg clears him. Greg's down in the 2nd spot. Adrian Schumacher just in front of Lipicki, right in front of Greg.
Vincent Cortez getting around the outside.
He's around the 88, so now he's going to be back behind Greg Olenek. Here we go, all the playoff drivers back together here with 2 laps together.
Oh my goodness, this is going to get crazy as we're coming down the backstretch to get down. Oh, here we go.
The wall. Oh, we kept it straight. We're going to keep it green, but I think that was the 88 in the wall right there.
It is, yes.
Oh, we got more cars around the 53. Oh, that was tight. Okay, we're all good at that 51. My apologies.
Oh, we have a caution.
Into Olenek.
Caution.
We got a caution as well. Olenek is around. Lipicki, Cortez
around.
That started early on the front stretch, and we went away because there was a caution. But oh man,
wow!
Lipicki was holding up Olenek, ran out of patience. Cortez was trying to go around him, and oh my gosh, we got to sort some things out here now.
This just got crazier as we're going to go up front and see what happened here. Greg Olenek getting to the outside.
So you see Greg trying to go on the outside. He's been held up by Lipicki. Knows he has to get to the 82.
And now they're 3 wide. And it looks like Cortez may have clipped Mike Lipicki.
Cortez was down in the grass, and so when you hit the grass, you can't really go much further. And I think he got into the 46 a little bit, and then the 46 kind of ping pong. But man, what a tough spot for that 46 to be in. And I'm not going to fault him for racing ever because you always got to give it 100% right there. But you gotta kind of know you got 2 playoff drivers battling, 3 playoff drivers actually right there battling for the championship. Might be a little bit more lenient in that situation if I was him, but you still have other cars out on the racetrack, so you got to race everybody. But man, that's unfortunate for these 2 because I think they would have got to that 82 and we would have had a 3-car battle for this championship on that last lap.
I was mistaken. Cortez did not get into the 46 until the 46 got into Greg Olenek. So, but still, 46 and the 69 get together there, 2 teammates, and that just changes everything once again. But Adrian Schumacher still holds the lead for the playoff championship here.
Yeah, so we're going to have green light checkers. We have 3 attempts, starting with this one right here, to close this race off. I think since the caution... Okay, so this is interesting. The caution came out before the Olenek situation on the front stretch, I do believe. So I think those guys are going to get the positions back. We're going to have to look and see if they were able to slot back in where they were, but according to the scoring monitor, they were able to slot back in where they were running, which is going to be the saving grace of those guys. So they were able to... The caution came out for something else before that incident, so they were able to slot back in because that incident on the front stretch technically happened already under caution. So they slotted back in where they were running. So that's still our championship battle. However, those guys did slide the tires and run into each other, so they're going to have a little bit of damage. So with the 82 still on 2 tires, now the 31 and the 69 have some damage. I think we're back in the same boat. This is anybody's game with a green white checker to go.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen with our first green white checker finish here.
And think about how lucky Cortez and Olenek are that caution came out for something else before that happened, because I believe that was inevitably going to happen on the front stretch either way. And so, luckily they were able to get those positions back. Otherwise, those 2 would be pretty much out of the championship battle of contention. But instead, here we go. They find themselves in a chance to still battle for it.
And Aaron Gurwitz leads it. I mean,
yeah, and Aaron Gurwitz is winning this race, so he's gonna. I mean, if he wins this race, he still gets that 6th place payout, which is still pretty healthy.
Plus the $30 for first place.
And $30, and you have, look behind him, JW has second and third right there, so they have second, third, and 10th, it looks like, so there's a bunch of JW cars up here. You have a bunch of tank cars in the area as well, so the team championship's still in battle. A lot is going to sort out these last couple laps, and it's going to be a lot to keep track of and a lot to watch, and we'll try to help our viewers keep track of what's going on, but it's going to be quite eventful.
Absolutely nothing has been decided at this point.
Yeah, we've run 100. Well, we've already gone over the projected distance, so we've run 120 laps and nothing's decided yet. So here we go. Get ready, strap in. This is going to be entertaining.
Whew, all right, calm before the storm here. Coming around turns 3 and 4 for our first green-white checker attempt. And Aaron Gurwitz is going to lead the way, and he would love nothing more than to bring home this victory in this last race of the season.
Absolutely. He's going to be in control of the field, so we're going to get going whenever he wants to drop the hammer, and we'll see what happens behind him with the championship battle.
And Gurwitz, he may have spun his tires there a little bit, and it looks like we've got a little bit stacking up back behind him.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of guys spun their tires right there, but the playoff drivers that were already up front, they were all in front of all this. You have Cortez to the inside of Olenek and Schumacher right in front of them, so here's the battle for the championship right here. These 3 cars all nose to tail on the backstretch.
Adrian Schumacher leads the way in 4th, Greg Olenek in 5th, Vincent Cortez in 6th. As we are coming around, if Aaron Gurwitz can get to the white flag, we're about to crown a champion here in Speed Racing Network Season 2, and we do have the white flag.
And Drew Ballesteros still wants to win this race, and so he's going to fight with Aaron Gurwitz for the win here. Adrian Schumacher still holding off that 31 and pulling away a little bit. I think that has to do with the damage. Oh, Schumacher has to avoid the car that was in the wall right there. Couldn't tell who that was. I believe that was Ballesteros in the wall. Schumacher now got a car between him and Olenek. I think that is going to be enough for the championship. Aaron Gurwitz is going to win this race at Atlanta to cap off the season. And it looks like Adrian Schumacher is going to cross the line in front of all the other playoff drivers. He's going to be your SRN Xfinity Series champion.
Greg Olenek will take 2nd place in that championship. Vincent Cortez will take 3rd. Tristan Bailey will take 4th. And Jordan Bain will take 5th as they're wrecking after the line, of course.
Man, what a various storylines we have after this race. Aaron Gurwitz won this race. Really happy for him. Incredible run. We'll get to talk to him here in a little bit. Adrian Schumacher made a 2-tire strategy that was originally questionable work to win this championship when, remember, he had damage like 3 laps into this thing, was running 20th. So, rebounded and won this darn thing. And we're going to have to calculate the team championship battle because that's all over the place. But,
yeah,
wow,
that's
what
too,
an ending.
It's too close to call right now, to be completely honest with you. It's way too close to call, but we will hopefully get all that information before we go off air. But Adrian Schumacher wins the championship by coming in 3rd here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and he's going to do a few burnouts of his own, as Aaron Gurwitz is also celebrating his win.
There's Aaron Gurwitz burning it down for that win, much deserved. Great driver. Finally made it happen tonight. Great run by him. Schumacher doing a lap in reverse with his teammates. Very unique celebration. I like it. Effective. What a way to celebrate. Definitely deserved it. Great run by that team. Great run by Adrian. But all of our playoff drivers, they gave it all they had tonight. And you see 3 of them finishing in the top 6. It was a true battle that came down to the end. And Sean, what an entertaining race we had here tonight. It had a little bit of everything.
It certainly did. Just all sorts of craziness out there on the track. We are going to interview the race winner, Aaron Gurwitz, and then we will interview Greg Olenek, who took 2nd in the championship, and then we'll interview Adrian Schumacher, our championship winner, here very shortly. But before we do that, let's go ahead and bring up the results of the race itself, Aaron Gerwitz brings home the victory, his first of the season here in Speed Racing Network. James Shane Wolf brings up second place. Adrian Schumacher wins the championship in third. Drew Ballesteros in fourth. Greg Olenek in fifth.
Vincent Cortez from Tank, this third finishing playoff driver, will bring that thing home sixth. Nathan DeLewis from JBR will bring that home seventh. Michael Lepicki, eighth. Seth Reid in ninth. Zach Deutscher in 10th.
11th place, Matthew Robinson. 12th place, Dylan Patterson. Corey Saucier in 13th. Michael Larch in 14th. And Bo Tiffany rounds out your top 15.
16th, we'll have Stan Hausman, who had no hood for the majority of this race. Austin Purnell will finish 17th. And Tristan Bailey, our fourth playoff driver after that damage he sustained, will come home 18th. And I see 3-4 JW cars and 3 or 4 tank cars in that standing, so I'm sure Sean is busy trying to figure out the team championship side of things, but we know who won the race, we know who won the individual championship.
Definitely. Let's see if we can't get our race winner into the booth with us here, Aaron Gerwitz. Let's pull him into the booth and find out how his race went. Aaron Gerwitz, Sean, and Jonathan up here in the booth. And, man, congratulations on your first win of the season here. And, sorry we didn't give you more screen time, man.
It's good, Sean. You got the championship 5 here. It just feels good to get a win in this league, Been here 3 seasons now and finally got that monkey off my back. But, does it feel good to win, Sean?
It was an incredible race, and we enjoyed watching it. Obviously, a great championship battle was happening behind you, so we didn't really get to see the closing laps of it. But talk about your race, how you kind of went about your strategy and what you found successful and how you ended up being in the right place at the end.
Jonathan, we were just kind of playing on the long run speed. We had long run speed all race. Just needed some a little bit track position in the pits there in the middle. And about 50 to go, put us up in the top 5, and then we made our way up in the top 3. And then huge shout out to James Shane Wolf there. He put up a heck of a battle on those coming off those last green flag pit stops.
Well, man, I mean, still kind of in awe of what happened here because, you wait for the very last race to have your best race of the entire season. And so I finally get to ask you, who do you have to thank tonight?
I just got to thank everyone over at Rev'd. Jordan Bain, I don't know how his race went. I saw him in the back a couple times, so I'm thinking he didn't do as good as he was hoping, but still huge props for him being in the final 5. Greg Olenek getting runner-up. It's never a bad thing. And just all my sponsors, Silverback Tax Solutions, Long MacArthur Ford, and just everyone over at Rev Racing and all they do.
Well, buddy, congratulations once again. Great job here tonight. Just have some fun with the team, and hopefully we'll see you next season, buddy.
Yeah, we'll be back next year, Sean.
All right, man. Sounds good. Have a great night.
You as well, guys.
All right, let's see if we can't pull up his teammate, Greg Olenek. We're going to bring him up into the booth. Greg Olenek, welcome to the booth with Jonathan Byer and Sean Griffith. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going just a little sweaty right now through this shirt. I need to go step outside.
I bet. High intensity that entire race. I know there was some trouble there at the end, but hey, man, you're bringing home second place in the championship, $300. Nothing wrong with that.
You said that was 700. I'm pretty sure I got that on paper.
I don't recall this. I don't recall that.
No, it was everything I thought it would be. Went into this race, no expectations. Just happy to claw my way into this Final 5, which just had the most talented drivers, I think, among all 3 series. That's what I've been saying about this Xfinity series all year. It's the best drivers for sure, and it showed tonight. And it was just kind of crazy to get out there, and there was just so many different races happening, so nobody's going to just let you go by. And just some hard racing between myself and some JW guys and tank guys, but I know they were battling for the team championship. But all in all, man, you just tried to keep the car clean after what I saw last night and put myself in a position at the end to kind of be there, but came up just a little short.
Well, Greg, it was a heck of a run. Loved watching you perform out there tonight, and tried to different strategies and do what you could to be up there. I personally picked you to win this thing, and Sean picked Vincent, and you beat Vincent, so technically I did better, so thank you for that. But tell us a little bit about what you were thinking that mid part of the race, especially when we had to make that green flag pit stop, and what you were thinking about what you needed to do to beat Vincent, who was leading at the time.
Yeah, it all just came down to track position and where you were. And at the time, we knew we were the 4th running car out of the 5 with Jordan Bain being hurt, so he was the 5th one. So at that moment, we were kind of toying with the idea of either staying out or undercutting, and just went with the undercut strategy with the nothing to lose, starting, being in 4th out of those guys. And it wasn't really paying off. It's just the fall off here with these tires is absolutely crazy. And they were just flying by me like I was nothing, and I was just holding on at that point. But then we got that caution, and we all got on even tires there, and she was flying around the top line and almost got through there, got into a little bit of a scuffle with, I believe, Vincent and Mike there through the dog leg, and luckily was able to get my position back on the track. That was huge for us to be able to make a run at it at the end. But, man, I think if we would have stayed green right there, I would have been able to get to the bumper of the 82, and who knows what could have happened.
Well, man, I mean, just exciting to watch that entire race. I know you were amped up about it this entire week, and as well as the weeks prior as well. So just, again, congratulations on a great season. Tell us who you have to thank here for tonight as well as the season before we let you get back to celebrating.
Yeah, I'm honestly just happy it's over. It's a long, grueling playoffs it is here in SRN, but got to give thanks to my sponsors who've honestly stuck with me since – January of this year. It hasn't changed much. I got Moon Brew and Full Throttle Racing and Sports. You can check them out on Facebook. Sparkle and Shine, Silverback Tax Solutions, and Long MacArthur Ford out in Salina, Kansas. And I got to thank all my Rev Racing teammates. They were super supportive and helpful all week long. And, man, I got to give a big congrats to Aaron Gerwitz getting his first ever win. He was so happy. And it's kind of funny. We kind of flipped roles since last year at Texas. I won, and he finished 2nd in the championship standings. So a little bit of a role reversal here this year in Atlanta.
Hey, man, we will take it, definitely. Congratulations, great season. I know we'll be talking in the off season as well as for next season as well. No, we're not.
I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, well, hey, I will lose your number, my friend. I'll do it.
No longer legally obligated.
I'll do it for you, my friend. All right, buddy.
Well, thanks a lot, and congrats to Adrian on his well-earned championship.
Well, have a great night, all right?
Appreciate it. You guys too.
We'll get him down into his booth, and then we're going to bring up the man of the hour. We're going to bring up the grand champion of them all, Adrian Schumacher. Welcome up to the booth.
Grazie.
Oh, my goodness. What an incredible race. I mean, basically, at the very beginning of the race, you had some damage. A lot of people counted you out immediately after that damage happened. What did it take to bring it back up front?
Just tire saving and survival. That's it.
So, towards the end of that race, we saw a long green flag run, and, things were sorting out pretty well for you. You were methodically working your way up through the field, and you found yourself a good spot. Then that late race caution came out, and you came off pit road 2nd. Tell us a little bit about the strategy you played there to gain all that track position on pit road, and what you were thinking with that restart coming with 3 to go.
Yeah, I just thought, it's going to have to be 2 tires. I mean, I can't risk losing that spot. But I almost lost it because I accidentally left it in neutral when I tried to launch. But luckily those 2 tires gave me enough time. And the restarts, I was just hoping the full field load would give the rear tires, push the rear tires enough into the ground and give me a good launch. Plus, everyone else had significant damage compared to me. And I'm like, nah, I just got to survive.
Well, man, you did a great job of that, surviving and coming out on top. So tell us who you have to thank for this entire season and for this night here tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Healthcare and Billing, Chicago Heights, Liftworks, Raise Energy, Hunterdon, ButcherBox, Teespring, Common Sense Supplements, Invaders and Designs, and all my Tank Racing teammates, and I would like to thank Trip for setting up the league and you guys for broadcasting the races. And especially thanks to Zimmerman, who actually brought me into the league and told me about the league, and Emerson. Yeah.
I know you're relatively speechless right now. You just won $500, man. I mean, congratulations on that, and definitely we will get you that money. But great job here tonight. Definitely celebrate, and hopefully we'll see you next season so you can possibly defend your title.
Well, I could. If you look up in general chat, Trip, Lucas Lyons, sorry if I butchered your last name, said something about the new Mercedes F1 car. Maybe the man speaking facts.
Hey, we might have to take that into consideration, definitely. All right, buddy. Well, have a great night. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, guys. Grazie, ragazzi.
All right, Jonathan, let's run through this here really quickly. As in 5th place, we had Jordan Bain finishing off in 5th place after sustaining a lot of damage in an incident there. Tristan Bailey ended up in 4th place for the championship. Then you have Vincent Cortez in 3rd place for the championship. I think Greg Olenek will take 2nd place. And the grand champion of them all, congratulations once again to Adrian Schumacher from Tank Racing. So great race, great season.
It was incredible. I know I got to participate in a race earlier in the year and then broadcasted the back half, and sitting here broadcasting all these races in the back half, I mean, they were all incredible, and I know from watching the ones earlier in the season they were as well. And yeah, what 20 Xfinity races we put together, just absolutely incredible.
Man, it has been a lot of fun in this series, but the fun is not quite over yet. We are headed right back here to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Big Finish 225 in the Cup Series. Get ready, it's going to be even more incredible side-by-side racing.
2 great championship races have already come and gone, and we got one more on Sunday. And Sean, I know Tank won the individual, but do we know yet who won the team championship tonight?
We do not. We have to wait for the bonus points to come in and that sort of thing. So I apologize. We don't have that. It is such a tight race on that. We're going to have to wait for those standings to be posted in Sim Racing Labs in order to do that, or Sim Racing Hub, sorry. So we'll have to wait on that one. We'll get that out into the Discord as soon as physically possible. But for right now, we're going to let everyone get back to their lives. Just remember to come back for the Cup Championship race Sunday, December 12th at 8 p.m. Central Time. And Adrian Schumacher can tell you the only way that you're going to win that championship is if you simply go faster.